Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now we shift our attention back to the studio, and we're being joined at the moment by a legal practitioner, Temitope Atiba. Temitope, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, Victor. It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right, 6 weeks, the election has been postponed. What do you make of this development?
Yeah, first and foremost, I must say it hasn't come as a surprise, absolutely, to me as a person, because, you know, if you've studied the Nigerian political space, when hints like what the National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, dropped at the Chatham House when he addressed the Chatham House some time back, you would know that we know what to expect, you know. But then if we look at the situation more critically, we would see that while there is nothing wrong with the postponement of the election, when you consider the provisions of Section 132 and 135 of the Constitution, you would see that maybe INEC has the room to postpone elections under certain circumstances, but what we need to consider is the good faith behind having postponed these elections. And I said that to say that if you were going to postpone an election, you could have done that a month ago. I mean, the insecurity that you have claimed to be the reason why you are postponing this election didn't just suddenly drop on us. These things have been with us for how many years, and in fact, it comes to us now as a surprise that suddenly the federal government and the security chiefs are confident that they will be able to defeat Boko Haram in 6 weeks. So the question I ask myself when I look through this whole thing is, one, will elections, now that you said in 6 weeks the security situation in the Northeast would be under control and elections will be able to hold in the affected areas, are we going to have elections in Goza? I mean, because if after the preparations that have been put in by all the political parties, based on a timetable that was released about a year ago by INEC, and coming from the repeated, you know, the repeated confirmations from INEC and Professor Jega, particularly that INEC is ready to move on with the elections and that they had all their logistics covered, then you wonder if suddenly you now decide to postpone for 6 weeks, then that means, one, places like Goza that have been taken, that had allegedly been taken over.
Are you sure about this?
That it had been taken over? Yeah. Well, it's on the pages of the newspapers. This is public knowledge. It is not. I'm not making it up.
Okay.
You understand? So places like Goza, particularly, that had been taken over. That means you're telling us that in 6 weeks we are going to have elections in Goza if people are there.
Don't you have faith that the military can do that?
I am one of the greatest supporters of the Nigerian military. I root for the military, but I like to be realistic. And if in 6 years we fought an insurgency, and rather than defeat these Islamists, I think it's a spiral. Thankfully, in the past few weeks, we've heard some really good news coming out of the Northeast. I do not think it is possible to totally quell the insurgency beyond the position that it is now. While things might be a bit more stable, I agree that things might be a bit more stable, you know, you might have been able to contain them, but that it would so dramatically alter the landscape.
But if you look at the fact that it's not only the Nigerian army that are fighting Boko Haram at this point in time, you have the multinational joint task force, which has the Chadians and even the Nigerians,
even the Cameroonians are also fighting from.
So I think there's going to be the military, whom we are made to understand, advised INEC, you know, on this postponement because they can't guarantee the security of lives, you know, the materials.
Victor,
they must have a plan.
I believe so. But then 6 weeks. 6 weeks is not so much of a long time. I really want the Nigerian military and the multinational joint task force to be able to win and to contain this insurgency. But 6 weeks, to so dramatically alter the landscape so much that all those affected areas will be able to participate fully in the elections to the magnitude that we are being made to believe. Because if these places are still not going to vote, if the IDPs are still going to vote in the IDP camps after 6 weeks, then you have made absolute nonsense of the plans of INEC up till now. And then you have made people start to question the credibility of INEC, because from feelers, from what you would see on social media, from what you would hear on the streets, people feel that a certain political party might just be apprehensive of what will happen if the elections take place on February 14th.
Well, all those still remain apprehensions.
Exactly.
6 weeks, 4 days, 96 weeks. We'll see how that plays out when 6 weekends, but we have to hold it here now. That's where we are at this moment. We'll take a quick break and we'll return. We'll see your comments coming through our social media platforms. That's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, as well as Google+. We see some of them sometime later in the show, and also look at the top 5 videos that were viewed on our YouTube channel in the past week. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
We begin this week's countdown with the response a governorship candidate of Lagos State in the forthcoming polls gave residents after he was asked to speak Yoruba.
So if you wanted to say to them, my name is Robert Okoroji in Yoruba, I'm asking you to vote for me. How do you say that in Yoruba?
I could simply say, I mean, if that's a test of the use of language. I mean,
it's not a test. We just want these people to, at least, they want to vote for you.
They're asking. Orukomini, Robert, okay, Okoroji.
Following that response at number 4 is a dance during one of the rallies of the APC by its national leader, Bola Tinubu. At number 3 is his successor, Babátúndé Fáṣọlá, dancing to the Maven Crew's hit song, Dorobuchi. Coming in at number 2 is a launch of new security documents by the President during the Council of State meeting.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to formally launch the National Security Strategy. The National Counter-Terrorism Strategy and the Cyber Security Plan and Strategy. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all.
And at number 1 is the reason a member gives for the boycott of the presidential debates by the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari.
This time around, because they have seen that Buhari has come on stronger nationwide, there is intelligence available to us to suspect the partisanship of the organizers. Some of the organizers, not all. Some members of the organizing bodies. And we have concrete intelligence, to prove that they are partisan. And they are not just partisan in terms of their exposures, they're also partisan in terms of active collaboration with PDP in some of the anti-Buhari activities that are going on, including protests. For instance, we know that a particular person who is prominent in the organizing committee of the NEDG was part and parcel of those who planned the protest for postponement of the elections in Abuja, and even had a meeting in Abuja. We have the names of all those who attended the meeting, and they came back to Lagos same day to plan the postponement protest for Lagos.
Well, there you go, some of the messages you sent, and of course, the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Nigerians have expressed how eager they are to go to the polls and exercise their constitutional rights. But with this postponement, they will have to wait a little longer so the military can successfully curtail the security concerns that are bedeviling the country at the moment. Well, this is where we end the program, but continue on the social media addresses showing on your screen. I'm Victor Matthias. Thank you for watching.